So this video goes out to my friend Eugene, who recently texted me saying I'm looking for a camera around $300 to $500 Australian. So I've just done about an hour or so bit of research, and for those who don't know, I actually used to work at a camera shop called George's Cameras here in Sydney, and I reviewed a whole bunch of cameras. But now doing it for my friend, I have a lot more confidence and definitely a lot more scrutiny when it comes to the cameras. So for the options we have today, I have picked 7 cameras ranging from different brands, going from pros to cons about all the different other YouTube videos I've watched of other people's reviews of the cameras, and just my own past experience using different brands. And hopefully if you're looking for something like this, possibly to vlog or make videos about, then this will help. So let's get started with option number 1, and that is the Sony WX500. This retails for around $450. It has a 2/3 inch sensor, so it's quite small. That's what most compact cameras have actually. It has 18.2 megapixels, the aperture of the lens, which means the hole that allows the light in. The bigger it is, ideally the better, so that way it's better in low light. But at the moment it's 3.5 to 6.3, meaning it gets smaller as you start zooming in. That's not too bad. I think the average is around 3.5 on a compact camera. It has a 30 times zoom as well, which is massive, and that's something that compact cameras have, is pretty good zoom. It has OIS as well, optical image stabilization, so if you're walking around, it's going to stabilize it pretty well. And it has a USB ability to charge, so that's actually super convenient, especially when traveling. It does have a flip screen. Actually, all of these cameras have flip screens in some way or another. However, this particular option does not have 4K. So if you are looking to crop in, then you probably be able to crop in, but it just won't be as great of quality. Number 2 is the Panasonic TZ90. It comes in silver or black. It is around $480. Same size sensor, but now it is a 20.3 megapixel sensor. I think the best way to describe what a sensor is like a sponge. The bigger the sponge, the more light it's actually able to absorb, and that is great. So a lot of bigger cameras like this one here is a full frame sensor, so it's like this big compared to a 2/3 inch sensor, and it just allows you to get a bit more depth, a little bit more light in the camera. But this is a 2/3 inch sensor and 20.3 megapixels, which is good, gives you a bit more resolution in your frame, but resolution isn't everything. Usually, so if you break that sponge up into a grid, the bigger those pixels are, the better for low light, essentially. That's the theory. So yeah, more megapixels doesn't always equate to better picture quality, especially in low light. Moving on, it has a 3.3 aperture, which is slightly bigger than the previous one, so it allows more light in the camera, but very marginally. It goes all the way up to 6.4 with a 30 times zoom. It also has 60 times intelligent zoom, but that just means it's digital. It's not very good. It also has OIS, which is optical image stabilization, and you can use a USB to charge it. The only downside I would say with both the Panasonics on this list is that they're not very good with autofocus. So if you are looking to film yourself, it is slightly annoying, especially in some of the other tests that I've watched reviews on. The autofocus just continues to hunt, which is pretty average. So I probably wouldn't recommend this one. Moving on to slightly higher price point. This is the Canon POWERSHOT SX740. It comes in just under $500. It has a flip screen, 4K, still a 1 2/3 inch sensor. I still don't know how to say that properly. 20.3 megapixels, 3.5 aperture to 6.9. So on average, it's pretty good. It has a 40 times zoom, so a little bit more. Not that you really need it if you're filming yourself, because you kind of want to be closer to the camera. One thing, it does shoot 4K, however, it doesn't have a manual mode in video with everything. So you'll have to kind of just leave it, turn it on, and it will work. But you won't be able to change any of the settings, which is a bit of a bummer. That one's okay. I personally would like to change my settings, so I probably wouldn't recommend that one either too much. Moving on to the GoPro Hero 9, and I am a big fan of GoPros. This is actually my broken Hero 7, and I've just filmed so many things with GoPros. Skiing, traveling, it's just easy. You press the button and it records. It does have really high resolutions as well. Not fantastic in low light. You can turn it to a manual. It is a little bit more tedious. The battery does run out. It does charge by USB-C though, and with the new ones, it does have a screen at the front, so you're able to see yourself when you set it up. And the best thing about GoPros is that they're easy to mount. So I know for my friend Eugene, where he's playing the keys, if he wants to do it overhead, it's actually way easier to mount a GoPro compared to any other camera. So I put the GoPro on there. It comes in at $529 just as an option. It's pretty good. Moving on to option number 5, there's the Panasonic TZ95. So that's the newer version. It comes in at around $587. So about $100 more than the older option. The main benefits here is that it has a better EVF, so electronic viewfinder, where you're able to put it up to your eye, but not that that makes much difference. And it also has Bluetooth as well. So probably disregard that one, just put it there because some people might ask about it. Camera number 6 is the Sony CyberShot HX99. This one comes in at $635. So if we're playing in the US market, then it does still come under $500. At $634, you get a flip screen, 4K, a 1/2.3 inch sensor, 18.2 megapixels, and like I said, megapixels isn't everything. 18.2 is still massive. Like, you can print easily this big. It also has f3.5 to 6.4 aperture, which is pretty average or standard. It has a 28 times zoom, so slightly less than the other ones, and it has OIS and USB battery. One thing to note about Sony's is that they pack a lot of features in it, and sometimes it can be a little bit less easy to use compared to other brands, say like Canon. I do like that one though, so we'll keep that one for an option HX99. Moving on to my final option, and this is option number 7. This is the Canon EOS M200. This is a mirrorless camera, meaning all the other ones had built-in lenses, meaning you can't take them off, but this one you're able to actually adjust the lens. However, I've just included the one that comes with the camera, which is a 15 to 45. So you're not going to get as much zoom compared to all the other lenses. This one gives, I would say, about a 3 times zoom with a 24.1 megapixel sensor. It's also an APS-C size sensor, meaning it's a lot larger than the compact cameras. Like we said, it's going to get more light in the camera, allowing you to get better depth of field, a little bit better low light. That's the goal anyway. It has a f3.5 to 6.3 aperture, and it does have IS and dual pixel autofocus, meaning that it has pretty good focus to be able to track your face if you're walking around or just filming yourself. Finally, it does shoot 4K as well, but it does have a heavy crop, so it's a big downer. Other than that, it works pretty well, and I do like this option, coming in at $657. So for a budget between $300 and $500, you're really not going to get much, especially once you add on SD cards, possibly UV filters, maybe a case, and maybe a spare battery. Other than that, yeah, you're not going to get much. I always would recommend, if you're spending that much, spend a little bit extra to get a better camera, whether that takes a week or a few weeks or maybe a month. But you're going to get a better option in the future, especially since it is a little bit, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. So out of these 7, I would either recommend the GoPro, the HX99, or probably the Canon EOS M200 out of all of them. None of these have a mic input, which does suck. But if you're filming, say, videos of yourself playing an instrument, you're most likely going to replace the audio anyway, and it work from there. I would say the final thing when picking a camera is it's great that it does charge by USB, but if you do end up getting a spare battery, then having a charger is a little bit nicer since you're able to use the camera whilst you're charging one and then just swap them out. So keep that in mind. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hope that helps. Bye. Also, I'll leave links to all of these things and even a link to my spreadsheet if you want to take a look in the description.